Welcome to one of the most tragic videos here on my channel because I am testing today 1, 2, 3, 4 items of the Dolce & Gabbana makeup line. I have the new Bergamot primer here, as it says, glow primer that does not give a glow, but that's not a bad thing at all. Then we have the Cheeks and Eyes Match Long Lasting Blush and Eyeshadow Powder. Spoiler, I didn't use it as eyeshadow. In the shade 05 Wonderful Strawberry. Spoiler, beautiful color, beautiful blush. Then we have the Fix Skin Perfector, probably the most insulting, useless, dumb shit powder on the market to this point. And then the disappointment of this show today is the Dolce & Gabbana I Dare You eyeshadow palette that comes in such a ridiculous design that it actually hurts my brain. And not only this, oh look, all the flakes everywhere here on top of a gel color that has no protective lid on, so I can happily mix them now in because these shimmers here are so fucking dry that they fall apart, and you know, the desert is wetter than this. I want to warn you that these looks that you are going to see, 3 in total, so 1 look on both eyes and then look 2 and 3. I just had to cut it down because I didn't want to do one more day with this. They are a roller coaster of emotions. There will be a lot of cussing here in this video, a lot of insulting towards this piece of garbage. And I will very in-depth rant about why this is a shit show here, but let me start the video just before the first look by telling you, if you thought of buying this, no. And if you still buy it, you deserve that your arm sleeves will roll down every time you do the dishes, that your pillow is always fucking warm, and that whenever you are planning to sit outside your barbecue and eat, it starts to rain. I'm sorry, if you, after this review, still buy this palette, it's your own fault. So, without further ado, let's get the shit show started with the 3 looks that I did for this video. So this time with a palette like this, I thought of something else as a 3-look concept. Usually I just wing it. And this time I thought, let's do topics. So the topic for the first look is light and summery, which is kind of challenging. But I tap into the first shade here that is called Scheming. So powdery. Wow. This one is my transition color. Ooh, it applies nice. Powdery mattes usually apply and blend very, very nice because of the powderiness. These shimmers here in the center, specifically these 3 here, are probably the cheapest shimmer I have ever seen. Swatching was a pain in the ass, so hopefully when I later apply them, I didn't even plan to apply them, I just wanted to press it down a bit because I think the blue shade is the one that always comes shattered. It's like there is no binding component in there. But I actually want to go into this one. This is Spoiled Pink. And I start with this here on the inner part and then just kind of bring it a bit out. And then I tap into this one. This is called Fearless. And I use this here in the outer part. Since this look should be quite light and summery, I'm not going into anything to deepen the crease or so. So I applied my glitter glue now and I go now into this one. This is called Impulsive. And it's one of those marbled shades and it has some red, some gold, some kind of bronzy tones. So hopefully this will look nice on the lid. It's swatched like shit, but these shades in general, I think swatch not that good. They, in my opinion, have their full potential applied with a brush. With the Huda Beauty ones that are marbled like this, I have the same thing actually. I think they swatch very, very bad, but as soon as a brush comes in, they all of a sudden perform as if it's the last thing they do. It actually looks quite pretty, but My main problem here is actually all the pinks, the purples, and all the other matte browns in that palette are very cool toned, while this shade is very warm toned. So it it kind of looks wrong. This just does not work. So let me now go into Unapologetic. It is labeled as a matte taupe, so again cool toned, but I just hope when I keep it here in the crease that this tiny, tiny bit of shadow is kind of helping to make this not look so weird. It does. Well, there is a bit of a difference here. So since this look is so weird in this whole lid tone, I'm now tapping into the shade here. This is Wanted. And this is a gel color. I actually didn't know that. I was a bit surprised when the palette came because I hated and still hate with a passion the cream colors from Huda Beauty. I don't know why I have so many references with Huda Beauty, but I feel like this is super duper close to Huda Beauty. But I want to take this black color here and I just want to create a like winged liner shape, but I'm starting here on the outside and then I kind of flick it in to the to the upper lid. It's very hard to explain what I do when I myself don't know what I do. Honestly, this look cannot get worse. This is horrible. So let's move on to inner corner highlight, and for this I'm using the shade Slick. They are so gritty, grizzly like. In those shimmer shades, they forgot the binding component. It's absolutely horrible. But I apply this as inner corner highlight, surprisingly. Well, at least the shade is pretty. Out of the new line, they also have blushes, and I picked up one shade. This is the Cheeks and Eyes Match in the shade 5 Wonderful Strawberry, and this looks like a god darn pretty color. Have I used this yet? No, I haven't. I think I haven't. I think I saved this specifically as a first impression for this video. Oh. Oh, that is very intense. So let me just, oh, okay. I tapped a bit off on my towel that I have here, and now I will use this blush definitely for the other two looks too, because today my cream blush that I have underneath, which is by the way the Luscious Lotus from Pat McGrath, that one was already very intense and I feel like it wasn't able to shine today, so you will be used again in the next looks. As per usual, excuse the hair, but here we have the first finished look, and honestly, I cannot stress enough how much I hate this look. I don't know what exactly went wrong. Maybe I should have stayed with these two mattes, then a bit of the black gel to make this color work, but this goldy bronze color is just crashing so much with the undertone of the pinks. Honestly, I feel like I have never applied makeup before, and I think this is one of the worst looks that I have ever done. I do not like this at all. It's horrible, and I'm very happy that I'm filming this in like a vacation week so that I don't have to wear this shame to work. My lips for this look are actually bare because I want to film a lip swatch video right after that. So I kind of just prepped them with a bit MAC Prep and Prime stick, whatever. Let's hop on to look number 2 that hopefully is going to be better. Okay, since the last look was such a disaster and I was so happy when I washed it off, it looked horrible, I decided that instead of doing 2 separate looks, I will do the other 2 looks that I kind of planned in this part. So look 2 and 3 you get now, look 2, look 3. Sorry, but I enjoy this palette so little that I don't even wanna work further on with this, but I also kind of want to prove myself that I can work with this formulation despite these shades being so shit. So for the planned look number 2, I'm tapping into this shade. This was called Unapologetic. And I said look 2 is the left eye. So I apply this now here in the transition area. And the theming for this look that I planned was being kinda edgy, kinda dark. So I do have something very specific in mind for this eye. Next up, I'm going into the shade Provocative. And honestly, the formulation of the shimmers in this palette is provocative. Oh, this eye. And I use this here in the outer V and bring it also in the crease. On a more dense brush, but still round, I tap into the Wanted shade again, that black gel shade. And I use this here on the lid. Very, very lightly. I don't want to have a like super duper black base. I just want to have a slightly blackened base. And when you do not build this color up, there is a tad bit of like translucency going on. And although this is a gel black, I don't trust that. I take some glitter glue now, tap it here on top of everything. And I will probably do now the biggest mistake of my life, and I go into this crumbly shit shade that is called Shameless. Honestly, it's really shameless that they bring out a color like this. Ugh. It's even impossible to pick up with a brush. Oh my god. Have you seen this? I am not surprised that this shade comes broken every single time, and I'm surprised that mine wasn't. And I apply this now on the lid, starting in the center, and then I am just tapping this out, kind of filling in. This is, by the way, labeled as a blue multichrome, and I don't know if Dolce & Gabbana didn't get the mail what a multichrome is, but this appears to be a multichrome. In the pan I see blues and honestly, I just see blues. I take that back. It's just blue. And I have blue glitter flecks everywhere. I now go in with the brush. I use that deep purple on and just go through the crease again. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good. On the other eye, I'm starting with that Unapologetic shade again. Also as transition color. The mattes in this palette, they are carrying. Like, they carry this palette on their poor shoulders up to Mount Everest. It is insane. They are very good. I'm building up that shade actually this time. It is such a good, cool toned taupe color. It's borderline a shame that the rest of the palette is so shit. I now go into the shade Scandalous, which is a matte blue. And I apply this here in the outer parts, but also all along in my crease. This together with the taupe shade, beautiful, cool toned, muted blue. I'm again using the jet black shade that is sprinkled with blue glitter at this point. And I do apply this here on the outer third. Have I even told you the topic of the third look? I don't know. I think I haven't. The topic for the last look is actually something I feel very comfortable with. And that is definitely something intense, something cool toned, something borderline gothic-y, but kind of not. I honestly just wish that this black shade here would have been a matte. I am very curious how a matte black would work in here because that would be so much better. I applied my glitter glue and now I go into the shade Reckless. This is labeled as a multi-chrome purple, and this is definitely more multi-chrome than the other one, but it is just as flaky. Did they forget the binding component? It's horrible. Ugh. I apply this shade beginning in the center and then bringing it out. This is so fucking patchy. I have to admit, I haven't watched any review of this palette before I bought this. I just have seen looks that others created. And now I'm actually questioning what the fuck have they told their audience in the videos? Did they straight up lie to them? Did I get a bad palette? I don't know. I just cannot see how anybody is enjoying this formulation. I now make it even worse and I tap into the shade Outrageous. The name is so fitting. And this is a glitter silver. Oh my god, this is so dry. Do you know those people that are complaining that in the Colourpop palettes are pressed glitters? This is also a pressed glitter, but worse. This is so dry and so bad. The Colourpop ones, they do have a binding component. This one, nothing. But I take this and apply here on the inner part. Oh my god. Although I have glitter glue on, I feel the glitter raining on my face. I wish there was the tiniest microphone in the world to give you ASMR on my eye, because I swear to God, when I do this, I hear the scratch. It sounds like, wait a second, I show you what it sounds like. It sounds like this. This is the sound that I have with the brush on my eye. That is the level of grittiness this glitter here has. And as if this is not bad enough, everything just fell down and now is sticking to that shitty gel shade here. I cannot remember for the sake of my life when it was the last time that I used a palette that bad. Probably Huda Empowered. That was in a similar level of disappointment. So let's talk a bit about the Fig Perfector Powder. I am honestly confused what exactly this is supposed to be, because I tried to use this now as setting powder on my face, as blurring powder, like in a finish way. I tried to use this with a puff, with a brush. Even with my finger, there is a little bit of payoff, but as soon as I try to apply it, it's like nothing there. I even tried to use this as under eye setting powder, which I will be using again now, but come on. First of all, I have to rub like this to get this much pigment. Like, look at how hard I'm rubbing. And then I get even flakes of the powder here. And when I try to then set my under eye, there is something, yes, but just because I rubbed so hard. This instantly hard pans here on the top. It's absolutely ridiculous and it does absolutely nothing. I have to rub the shit out of this powder so that I can have a decent setting quality. And even here on this eye, I still feel sticky concealer. This is so fucking awful. Save your freaking money. But let's now finish the under eyes, and I think I can finish both the same way. So I'm tapping into that purple shade again, Provocative, and I start to smudge this here along the lower lash line. And I do the same for the other look.
I had flakes of this freaking blue shade here on my towel, touched inside, and now I'm glittering. Palette is such an insult, honestly. My whole hands are glittering and I haven't even swatched them today. I swatched it yesterday and I still glitter in my feet, I don't know.
I now tap into Unapologetic. Can you tell that I am mildly annoyed? And I use this here to smoke everything out. And I do this for the other eye too. I feel this lower lash line look works just with both eyes, which is totally fine. So I now tap into this glitter shit again. What was it called? Outrageous, yeah. It doesn't even stick to the fucking brush. Why? And I apply this on the left eye with the look number 2 as inner corner highlight, and then I swipe it a bit on the lid because I left a tiny bit bare. And I also smudge this a bit on the lower lash line, like that. And then I just take the same brush, I just flip sides and go into Slick again. Oh, this is also horrible. And I use it here on this eye as inner corner highlight.
Every fucking where are blue glitter flecks on my body, on my shirt, on my trousers, on the floor, on the towel, on the desk, and I wouldn't even be surprised if the whole time while I was filming a blue glitter fleck is sticking on my lens.
So time to let that blush shine again. For the cream blush, I this time applied something super, super light, pinky. I don't even think that you can see a lot shining through underneath the skin tint. So I'm just tapping in again. Brush is nicely coated. Like, this is definitely very, very pigmented. And honestly, the blush is super duper pretty. I cannot understand how the blush and the eyeshadow palette can be from the same brand. It is impossible. I would much rather have 2 more from these blushes than look at this eyeshadow palette one more time. This strawberry color is very, very flattering. Definitely not my cleanest lip line, but I don't care. So these are now the finished 2 looks. This one, more of a like dark, edgy vibe. I don't know if I really nailed that. I wish that there was more black inside. So if the gel or cream black, whatever, would have been a matte black eyeshadow, that would have been so much better. And then on this side, something I feel comfortable with. So very glittery, quite dark, cool tone, nice. Do I love these 2 looks? Yes, the outcome is really pretty. But the way, the obstacles I had to fight to get to this point here, not worth it. I'm sorry, but who in the quality control approved of this palette? I have no freaking clue. And it is such a shame because the matte shadows in here, these 6 matte eyeshadows, are gems. The formulation is on point and it hurts my feelings that the rest of the palette is so fucking bad. This immediately leaves my collection. I don't want to see it in my shelf. I don't want to say hello to this. I don't even want to see the back or the side of this palette because I feel like when this stuff looks at me, it insults me instantly. The primer though, this is a gem, and honestly, I think this to me is the winner of my Dolce & Gabbana journey. Let's call it a journey. I hate the packaging. I truly hate this metal squeezy tube because when you squeeze a bit too much here, instantly primer is squirting out, and I don't know how much primer I already kind of wasted because of that. What is quite cool, it comes with this thingy here on top. Let me just show you. I think I haven't showed that in the intro. This, if you have never seen this, you can also use on other tubes like this. You just basically apply it here. I secured it a bit. And then you can use this to press out the primer so that you truly get every last bit of these sides too. Amazing. I love the way this feels on the skin. Every foundation or skin tint that I have tried this so far with, it worked. And honestly, it reminds me like a cooler in temperature, honestly. I think the application is kind of cooling on the face. a cooler version of the Bobbi Brown face base. This has actually a similar effect like the face base. It's not super glow intensifying, it's not mattifying, it just gives a quite nice base to your face. It says that this is glowing. I don't think so. And I honestly think it's cool that this is this super icy blue. And when I now just rub this here into my hand, I applied a bit too much, it just looks super moisturized, not glowy, not mattifying, not pore filling. And when you touch it, it feels just like a very nice, borderline velvety surface. I enjoy this a lot. It says that this is a Bergamot primer. I don't smell bergamot. I don't know if this is supposed to smell like bergamot, but it truly doesn't. It has a slight medicine scent. I don't know why I have to think of medicine, hospital, and prescription creams. I have no clue. But the effect is nice. The scent doesn't linger. It doesn't stay for very long. Actually, when you apply this, the scent is already fading. So yeah, this an absolute winner. Same as this one. This blush is absolutely stunning. I am happy that I got this specific shade. I truly enjoyed. And I also got, oh, see, I haven't talked about this. I also got a brush. This one I have used only once so far, and I liked it. I use it with the Guerlain Meteorites for finishing powder. That is just perfect as a fluffy, loose brush. Now, the two items that disappointed me the most, the powder. Can you even see these brownie dark spots here? This is Heartpan. Heartpan from brush, from the puff, from my finger. It is like a baked gelée formulation, but it constantly heartpans on top. That was a horse. It is incredibly hard to get any payoff here. It doesn't matter what brush you use this with, it's horrible. This powder is a pure disappointment, as well as this shit show of an eyeshadow palette. I'm 100% honest with you. I fully am aware of the fact that everybody's taste is different. But if anybody tells you that this palette is good quality, that the shimmers are amazing, that they feel beautiful, sorry, they're lying. This is not an honest review. You cannot tell me that anybody on this motherfucking planet wants to have shimmers that have no binding component, that crackle off, that flake off constantly. Sorry, that is just a straight up lie. The Marble shade is okay, it is fine. It is kind of a puttyish feeling, like a cream or so, but it also isn't. That one is good, but the tones do not work with the mattes inside of this palette. This one I thought might be a really cool, one of those, ethereal shadows with the translucent base. Does it look good on the eye? Fuck yeah. Does it feel like a pain in the ass? Fuck yeah. And these three, I'm sorry. No. Just no. Do you know what happens when you touch a good multi-chrome? You have an even layer of pigment on your finger. Do you know what happens when I touch this blue multi-chrome? I just press my finger in, no wiggling. Do you see the flakes? Let's do the same here for that other one. Flakes. And now let's do the same for the glitter. Flakes, gritty, dry, bullshit. This is just so incredibly dry and flaky. It feels like kids' makeup. I think whoever is using and reviewing this palette and is giving you a good review, that might be a good time to think about their honesty. And I don't think that I'm exaggerating here or that I make false assumptions or whatever. A lot of those people who are luxury reviewer, who love to use luxury makeup, high-end makeup, designer makeup, like Dolce & Gabbana is not even luxury makeup, we're talking here designer makeup. And when I think of designer makeup, I think of excellent quality. I think of easy use. And if they dare to kind of go out there with their colors, I just expect outstandingly smooth formulations. To me, this is just a really big difference if this palette would have been done by Colourpop or Dolce & Gabbana. Because if this was a Colourpop palette, first of all, I probably wouldn't have bought this because I still think that this is ridiculous. Like, this format is just so bullshit. And by the way, it comes with a little chain here, a little gold chain. That gold chain I do have on my key currently. But you are supposed to put this on your handbag, on your Dolce & Gabbana handbag. As if I have the Dolce & Gabbana handbag. Yeah, of course No, I don't. Let's even imagine you want to use this palette on the go with the brush that is inside here. Like, how can I remove that motherfucking brush here? Oh my god. Is there a trick? You have to slide it. Please tell me, how am I supposed to use these flaky shades with this shit show of a brush here? Everything in this palette screams cheap kids makeup to me. Makeup that you find in the carnival section of your grocery store as soon as it is carnival season. And also the fact that this is plastic. This is a plastic packaging. I don't know what it is, but I just expect more. And if you do plastic packaging, which I understand, do it in a more luxurious way. So let's end the video here because I'm getting very emotional over the shit show of makeup. I just want to end the video by advising you not to try this eyeshadow. This is pure garbage. This is a waste of money, and I cannot envision anybody who is enjoying this formulation of the shimmers. If they were a tad bit better, if they had a tad bit more binding component and were not so dry and flaky, I could have enjoyed them because the mattes really carry this palette. But since these shimmers are the star of the palette, no thank you, they're shit. If you want to try something from Dolce & Gabbana, to me, my recs go out for the blushes, the new ones, and this new Bergamot primer. That is awesome. Also skip the powder. So thank you as always so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe so you can stay here. We have fun videos over there, and as you can tell, I am always honest with you. I will never lie for anything for you. I just tell you the unfiltered, plain truth. So thank you so much. I hope you're entertained, and I can see you in the next one.